On this week's Loudini Rock and Roll Circus podcast, it's Kiss versus Kiss. What does that mean? Because some folks out there are like, Kiss sucks, man, they're terrible. I can't believe you like the group. And then people are like, oh my God, Kiss, I'm so not worthy. So we are going to sort of do Kiss versus Kiss, the good Kiss, the bad Kiss, what we love about Kiss, what people hate about Kiss. It's all in good fun, but we were talking last week, and I'm like, in 7, almost 8 years now, we've been doing our podcast. We've never done a show about Kiss. So love them or hate them, there is no denying the power that is Kiss. You're listening to the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus, changing rock history one podcast at a time. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus, where we lick microphones and not doorknobs.
Maybe doorknobs.
Knobs.
Definitely knobs.
Oh, my God, we're already having a good party here. You are with the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. Go to LouLombardiRocks.com to get brought into the community of people that, I just posted a great video in our community that you won't know about unless you go to LouLombardiRocks.com. And the song is perfect for what's going on in the world. It's just what you need to hear. It's just like a love letter written from the blood of my heart straight to your lips.
Oh my God.
And I hope that you love it. LouLombardiRocks.com. Thanks to our, shout out to our sponsors, Rock Rage Radio, who's keeping great rock alive 24/7. We do it an hour a week, but they keep it alive constantly. So there is no reason to not hear great rock and roll. Rock Rage Radio all day long. And I got to thank my brother. Wolf and I, we got to meet face to face. We haven't met. We got to meet. We got to find some way to meet. But Chris Thunderwolf Dodson, this guy he's just an amazing dude. He's insanely passionate about great guitar-driven rock. And he has this company called Wolf's Customs. They do custom guitar painting, refinishing, modifications, things like that. And they're absolutely excellent. Their work is brilliant. I believe that Chris did some work on some of Keith's drums.
I saw that.
Yeah, so you want an instrument, drums or guitar, whatever, painted into something with some really unique design, something that's going to make you stand out on stage. Because face it, guys, what is it? It's a Stratocaster, it's a Telecaster, an SG, a Les Paul. Some of you guys are playing a Flying V or an Explorer. There's only a handful it's only so unique you can be with the actual guitar, but you can really express yourself and have your own look with a custom finish on your guitar from Chris Thunderwolf Dodson at Wolf's Customs. The website is wolfscustoms.online. That is wolfscustoms.online. Yes, we are open to paying sponsors. We are whores like that. We love money. So please, if you have a product or a service you want us to promote here on the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus, please hit us up, Lou at LouLombardiMusic.com. I have been talking for like 7 hours straight, and there is this lovely lady sitting next to me.
Oh, thanks.
Please introduce yourself.
Lily Six, Rock Rage Radio, among other things. Bad reputation. Anyway, so I got to do something fun over the weekend on Saturday that you missed, and I think you might be upset about it. The Silencers. On Saturday.
The Silencers. Be silent.
They were great. Actually, the band before them were great too. I think they were called Spinning Jenny, but I didn't like their originals. I liked their covers better, but they were great. Anyway,
Cool. The Silencers were a band that were on the radio when I first started getting into rock. They're a Pittsburgh band. They had a video on MTV, and I was like, she texted me. She's like, we're going to go see the Silencers. I'm like, what? And she was like, no, it's a reunion show. And I was already into something else, and I really couldn't go. But congratulations. I'm glad you got to go check them out. Lily V6 is our resident rock historian, so she'll be providing a lot of the historical information about the band Kiss, as she does each week with the different topics that we have. We always start out with some kick-ass music So why would today be any different? But get ready, guys. We are going to rock out with our talk out. So hit us up. Go to LouLombardiRocks.com and throw in some comments, throw us some questions. We're happy to talk about with you guys. There's an after party as well that you're going to find out about. So make sure you don't miss that. But we're going to start out with a band called, this is a really cool band name. I like when you do a sort of oxymoron with your band name, and that's what these guys do. So this is a band called Your Screaming Silence. See what I mean? I know them big like oxymoron words, you know that. Your Screaming Silence. We're going to be right back on the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus to rock out with your talk out. Man, I think that is a really intense track. Long way to fame from Your Screaming Silence.
It's a great song.
Yeah, absolutely killer. So check them out. Google Your Screaming. Here's how to find any of these guys. If like I say the link and you don't get it, it's real simple. Just go Your Screaming Silence band. That's how I find, like, if I don't, because people aren't sending me the music. They should be. But because I'm passionate and I want to find cool stuff for you guys, I go out and I go out and do a little searching. And if I need to add the band's website, which I usually do, I didn't do today. That's how I search it. So if you put in Your Screaming Silence band, it will come up. Okay, guys, we are talking about Kiss. I can't believe it. This is like it took
the greatest band in the world.
It took a global pandemic to get us to talk about Kiss.
That's sad.
Well, it is what it is. So Lily is our resident rock historian. So why don't you kind of give us a sort of like the history, a little bit of background about this Kiss thing.
All right. First of all, I shouldn't have to give a history on Kiss, but I will for people who might be younger and don't know.
History.
American rock band formed in New York City in January of 1973, before I was born, by Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, Peter Criss, and Ace Frehley. They are well known for their face paint and stage outfits. They grew to prominence in the late 70s due to their elaborate live performances that included fire-breathing, blood-spitting, smoking, guitars shooting rockets, levitation, and pyrotechnics. And they have had several lineup changes, with Gene and Paul being the two constant members the entire time. The original lineup is the best-known lineup. However, I do like some of the rest of their lineup as well. Their different personas were the Star Child, the Demon, the Spaceman, and the Catman. Do you need me to say who's who?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, please do.
The Star Child is Paul. The Demon is Gene. The Spaceman is Ace, or Space Ace. And the Catman is Peter Criss. Also, look, I have diagrams. So also we had...
You need like a flow chart for Kiss.
Also we had the Fox, who was Eric Carr. Eric Singer was also the Catman for a minute. Tommy Thayer is currently the Spaceman. And Vinnie Vincent is the... What do you call that guy? The Ink Warrior. Is that how you say that? Ink? A-N-K? Ankh, whatever.
Tommy Thayer was hired by Gene as a sort of like business, like his assistant, like his secretary, his personal secretary. And he told Tommy, he says, if I tell you that the windows need washed, you wash the
I remember hearing about that.
And so that's how, but Tommy's background is he was an LA guy and he was in a really popular Kiss tribute band. So he loved Kiss. So it was a match made in heaven. So, I respect that. He worked his way. It's like, I want to work for this company. So I'll do anything. I'll start out in the mailroom.
I will wash
you guys that are young.
Laundry.
Yeah. You guys that are young don't know about that, but in the old days, if there was a company like you wanted to work for, Bell Atlantic or Westinghouse or something, it was a good company, that you could move up or whatever, you would take any job just to get in. And that's exactly what Tommy did. He's like, sure, Gene, I'll wash your car. I'll do like whatever.
He started at the bottom.
And yeah, he started at the bottom and now he's the lead guitar player in Kiss.
Currently.
Good for him, man. Good for him. And we're going to go back and forth and talk about some positives and negatives about Kiss, but this is no judgment on Tommy. Like whatever you think about him wearing you got to understand.
People get really mad about that.
Well, he's an employee, guys, so you can't be mad at Tommy. Okay, Kiss is waving gajunga dollars in front of these two guys.
You'd do it too.
You would do it too.
Don't even
to be
lie.
on stage with Kiss, come on.
I have some of their awards and stuff written down here.
So continue.
They are one of the best-selling bands of all time, having sold more than 75 million records worldwide, 21 million RIA certified albums, which is the Recording Industry Association of America. They also hold the title of America's #1 gold record award winning group of all time. They've earned 30 gold albums. They have 14 platinum albums, 3 being multi-platinum, and they were inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2014. Not that we ever care, but that's only the original members. MTV ranked them as the 9th greatest metal band of all time. Now, I don't know if I agree with them being metal, but that's
Who ranked them that?
MTV.
Back in when?
Like 1990 something.
Yeah. So that was, I mean, I don't want you metal fans to get like
don't get mad about that.
Like,
that's just,
like,
that's just on their listing.
We all know that they're not really metal. Also, but if you go back to the 80s, that metal there was a lot of stuff that people.
It was a different thing then.
Yeah. So
than it is now.
Just
so calm down on that.
It's all good. We're just rocking out with our talk out. That's all we're doing here.
And then, of course, people were butthurt about the logo when it came out because they thought it was a Nazi symbolism or Knights in Satan's Service or what is it, Kids SS or something like that. So,
yeah.
As people do get mad about metal bands having satanic meanings.
Well, they did these 3 records when they first came out, and they were playing shows and people loved them live, but they really couldn't get any traction with album sales until they did Alive. And Alive was the record that really kind of broke them and got people to kind of stand up and take notice. There's a lot of controversy about Alive. There's been different stories told about it over the years. Originally, Eddie Kramer said that all he did was, kind of touch up all he did was touch up a few things. And then later on, he came out and said, oh, no, they practically re-recorded the whole thing. The only live stuff on there is the drums. And then Kiss has talked about it a number of times and said that, we did fix up a few things because we're jumping around on stage and we were off mic at times. And that the other thing was they had made a mistake in terms of capturing the crowd. So a lot of people laugh at this record because if you listen to it, the crowd in places is obviously canned crowd noises.
No.
So the way you do that is, in addition to miking all the stuff separately so that you can mix it, you also put some room mics up to capture the crowd and capture the ambient sound as well. And that just was not done as well as they had hoped. That's the sort of story. But that came out and people started to... it did capture the energy of them live. And I think that's ultimately what kind of propelled them to becoming like everything that, that they are known for now.
And they also had a time when they didn't wear the makeup, just to get back to that real quick. And that was called the Unmasked era. That lasted 10 years? And so Bruce and St. John didn't have a makeup theme like all the other guys
Bruce
had.
Kulick.
Yeah. They didn't have a makeup theme, but Bruce said he would have been the dog if he would have been anybody, and he wanted to be like the little Rascals dog with the little bullseye.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, since there was a Catman, he would have been the dog man. So I like Bruce. He's cool.
Bruce Kulick, yeah. He's on a lot of great compilation albums with a lot of great singers as well. He's a dynamite guitar player. Yes, that was the era of songs like
Lick It Up.
Heaven's on Fire. All Hell's Breaking Loose.
I think that's on that. Yep. There's a whole 10 years.
So
at that point though, they were able to gather a whole new generation of fans with different types of music.
Yeah, and the other thing about Kiss that is that people forget, when they first came out, first of all, they were huge fans of the Beatles, and all four guys sang songs. Mm-hmm. So Ace had songs, Gene had songs, Paul had songs, even Peter had songs, and
they had their own albums.
When they, let's not go there just yet.
Okay, I'm not ready.
But when they got to the 80s, Paul really became like the lead singer, and it was just a decision that they sort of went with because that was how things were done with bands in that era. Mm-hmm. The idea of four guys all singing songs, a lot of people felt was confusing and everything. So people couldn't get their minds around that. It was the video era. So it was much easier just to have the lead singer. So Paul is a fantastic voice, by the way. I think he's got a great voice. And he sang those songs.
He's a great front man.
He's a great front man. He sang those songs very, very well. So what else?
What else do you want to talk about?
Well, what happened? When does the makeup come back on?
When did the makeup come back on? I don't even remember now. I'm sorry, I didn't write that in here.
Wow, I thought that would have been kind of important.
It's not really that important.
I think that was late.
Was it
90s.
Dynasty? No,
late
wrong.
90s, early 2000s is when they started to kind of re-embrace their original, because they did reunite with the actual original members for a while with Peter and Ace for a bit.
Wait, then I can answer that.
And that
Hold on.
couldn't last. Unfortunately, they can't get along with Peter and Ace.
96.
Okay. So they couldn't, yeah.
Yeah, they don't get along with those two gentlemen.
Well,
or didn't.
According to Gene, I have not read Ace's or Peter's books, okay? And I have not read Paul's book. But I have read Gene's book like 4 times.
You've asked me to read that 100 times, and I just haven't.
It's wildly entertaining. It's just wildly entertaining. But according to Gene, Ace and Peter both had very severe substance issues that made the situation untenable. They just could not. Also, there were some serious personality clashes. Like these guys weren't necessarily. Gene and Paul are like brothers, but the other 2 guys were guys that they hired, that they went out and they auditioned and tried to find people. So that is really why those 2 are the sort of like, cornerstone of the
And
band.
that's why they've been there the whole time, and not everybody's been there the whole time. But I read somewhere that their music is described as a commercially potent mix of anthemic, fist-pounding hard rock driven by sleek hooks and ballads powered by loud guitars, cloying melodies, and sweeping strings. And that was sort of a sound that laid the groundwork for arena rock and pop.
Yeah, this really
metal.
this laid the groundwork for like what Van Halen and Quiet Riot and Motley Crue. I mean, Motley Crue owes a lot to Kiss.
Yeah, this was the late 80s, sort of, here you go.
Yeah.
Now take the reins.
Yeah, the 80s was like, those bands kind of took that over. We're going to talk more about Kiss when we come back. This is a band called Roxanne, and the song's called Superbad. Check it out on Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. You guys remember a band from the 90s called Cry of Love?
I do.
These guys sound like this is the next generation of Cry of Love. It's a great soulful blues-based rock with great vocals. I freaking love that band. And just go to Google Roxanne Band and you'll find them. Great band. And by the way, guys, all those songs that we play, if you search Loudini Rock and Roll Circus on Spotify, we create our playlist and we make them public. So you can, if you don't want to hear us, you can just listen to the awesome bands.
Shame on
and
you.
I invite you to check out these playlists because they're just chock full of great music. And I'm very proud of that. So we're talking about Kiss. Kids in Satan's Service. Oh!
Maybe that's why I like them, because they came off that way.
Because of Satan.
Yeah.
That's why you love him. Satan's cool. We love Satan.
Oh, we're going to hell now.
It's a Satan virus.
So we can talk about touring and merch.
Let's talk about merching and tours.
Marching and tours. Okay. Concert touring was changed by Kiss's practice of erecting.
You said erecting.
I knew you were going to say that.
Kiss
That's
said
why
erection.
I paused. Uniquely designed stage sets. Their tours got larger. They also innovated with a significant expansion of concert merch, selling non-musical Kiss branded stuff to concert goers. But those sales actually helped them pay for these gigantic tours at the time, and people would like eat that stuff up. I mean, I did. So, but they helped pay for the expenses and bring a profit to the band as well, and give them further presence without relying on radio. And other bands followed suit after that, doing the same thing. So literally, you can find Kiss branded anything out there, and that's extremely important to obviously the tour because they were able to pay for it. But people who are Kiss fans, who are actually like diehard Kiss fans, will buy literally everything that they have out there. I have a friend who does that, so that's how I know.
It is a very, how can I put this? if you're a musician, if you're in a band, you have a band, you should study what Kiss did.
Their business practices, at the
study
very
it.
least.
just study. Go in with an open mind, even if you don't like their music, and you're saying, "Well, I don't understand how everybody makes money in this business." Blah. Just study Kiss, okay?
It's really a smart thing to do.
Yeah,
because
and there are indie bands, like real micro niche, small, that are doing very, very well, following the kind of Kiss model of creating not only branded merchandise, but selling their fans things like coffee and barbecue sauce and things like that. You have to use your imagination a little bit, but if people love you, once people get to know, like, and trust you, they are like, well, what can we buy from you? They want to give you money. Don't rob them of that, and find stuff that they like and sell it to them. That's exactly what, and not everything the Kiss sold was a hit. Some of the stuff, so they just kept putting it out there until, people know people like this. And there'll be a handful of people that are going to buy the Kiss coffin. They know that's not going to be a big seller.
But people will do it.
But there are people who will do it. And they charge a high dollar amount for something like that. And, those people are really into that. And you can laugh about it. You can call it stupid. But Kiss has more money than you.
So maybe it's not so stupid. Gene is one of the best businessmen out there. He knows he will put his brand on anything. It doesn't matter what it is.
He and another person who I won't talk about because he's a political figure, both get invited to speak at a lot of the same business conferences. So, I mean, I know people I'm very big into business and marketing. I know a lot of people in that world, and they go to conferences where Gene shows up to speak, not as a rock star. He's talking about business.
Yeah.
So you have to when you get ticked off about Kiss and all their sort of like merchandise and all that, just remember that that's where they're coming from. When I looked up, why people hate Kiss, Gene's name came up over and over and over and over.
I can see that. He's
an a-hole, obsessed with money and blah, blah, blah. Like he really needs the money, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
He doesn't need the money.
Well, I don't know what Gene needs. Maybe, he doesn't. It's not to me to judge. He does what he does, and he's successful at it. And instead of going like, maybe you should just check it out a little bit. Just maybe get some ideas there. But some of the okay, we're going to talk about why people hate Kiss, why people love Kiss.
Okay.
One of the reasons why people love Kiss is what, Lily?
Stage show. It's fun. Okay, so that's the reason I like to go see Kiss, is because their stage show. And yes, it's the same exact show every time, but I don't really care. I've seen them like 17 times. I want to go and I want to see the fire. I want to see the blood. I want to see them flying. I want to see all the things. It's fun. I took my sister one time to see Kiss. Hates the music. She hates music, but she loves seeing the stage show. It's amazing. And it's way out of proportion, but that's what makes it fun. And at the end, you're like catching balloons, and there's like confetti in my breasts and all the other things. So
confetti in my breasts. That's the next title of the next album.
Confetti in my breasts.
Now, here's the opposite. Now, I got these from MiamiNewTimes.com, which I believe is a very liberal.
I see where you're going with that.
Website and magazine. It is this is an article written by Wabe Tantangelo, and one of the reasons he cites why he hates Kiss is the stage show. Only a band of minimally skilled clowns needs an arsenal of pyrotechnics, gallons of fake blood, smoking guitars, and other sordid silliness to properly rock its audience. Here's Simmons thrusting his guitar like it's the ultimate phallic symbol.
Because it is.
Spitting blood and using his serpent-like tongue to fondle his fingers in front of the crowd that appears to be all dudes. Sexy.
Not even true. There are more females in that crowd than there are dudes in that crowd. And I'm telling you what, they want to see the tongue every single time.
The rebuttal right there. And speaking of buttle, I suspect Miami that this man may actually be carrying a little torch for Gene. He might be feeling like a little what's the word I want? Rejected.
Oh.
So let's just, another thing about Kiss that a lot of people love is what, Lily?
The makeup.
Okay.
And I don't necessarily like the makeup. I think it's fun that they do that. I think it's great that they take the time out to actually, because they do it themselves, because they've perfected it over the years. They take the time to do this. It's still fun. They're not clowns, because if they were clowns, I wouldn't like them. So that's wrong. I'm reading sort of that.
No, you stick with it.
I'm reading the bad part of it. But I think that the makeup, before they went unmasked, was sort of like, it was a disguise, and it was fun because you didn't know really who these people were.
Well, that was the whole thing. That's another thing that was really unique about Kiss is like
You
nobody
didn't know
knew
who they
who they
were.
really were.
Right.
In fact, in the movie Kiss versus meets the Phantom of the Park.
Fan of the Park, yes, I have that.
Ace never showed up, so there's a black dude playing Ace,
And you don't even know.
and goes right over your head.
And actually, that is the first time. The first time I saw them ever was in their makeup, and I'm like, "Who are these guys? This is totally fun." And of course, my mom was just like, "Why are you watching this weird stuff?" But regardless, that made me intrigued to listen to them more, just because of the makeup. So.
Okay, back to Miami New Times. The makeup. Rock and roll, at its most rewarding, is a means of self-expression on par with any of the more traditional art forms. At its worst, it's a sorry case for grown men to dress up like combatant, sex-starved cartoon characters with laughable handles like the Star Child, the Damon, the Spaceman, the Catman, the Fox, and my personal fave, the Unk Warrior. Here's Kiss in makeup at a press conference, sounding like idiots. Paul Stanley comparing his band to herpes. Gene Simmons wags his tongue and complains about fans stealing his music because, he needs the money. Interestingly, Simmons once again explains at great length how proud he is of Kiss, which make you wonder if deep down he isn't ultimately ashamed of his legacy. Okay, creating a body of often mean-spirited work that can only be truly appreciated by teenage boys and those with similar mindset. Oh my God. So that is a pretty damning critique. It has nothing to do with the makeup. He did not mention the makeup at all, except for in the first sentence. Here's my thing about the makeup, and I understand why some people just felt it was like a little too gimmicky. Like, okay, they're just getting over because of the makeup.
But really did it?
Right, I understand what you're saying, but a lot of quote unquote serious musicians feel that are kind of like treated like they don't really. These are the same guys that don't really like Ghost and Slipknot and those bands.
But it's the mystique.
It's just a way of doing it. Okay, you can't. I don't know how else to explain it. Let's talk about, and I don't see it. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about one of the other reasons why people love Kiss, Lily.
Okay, it's the music. Okay, this is my take on this. As somebody who's not a musician, it's coming from a fan. I think their music is super fun. You can dance to it. You can sing it. It's very catchy. Maybe it's not the best written songs in the world, but who really cares? Because what am I out to hear? I'm out to hear songs that I can dance to. As most females are. Just saying. But go on.
That's okay. You want to continue?
No, it's good.
Okay, here's I'm going to read Wade's comments here on Miami New Times, and then I'm going to kind of give you
your take on it.
Well, not just my take, but we did a post on Facebook this week, and a lot of really cool people joined in and talked about it and brought some really cool insight to this. And I also want to mention what my friend Carrie J.K. said about Kiss a couple weeks ago to me. But here's Wade. Kiss has never been known for producing anything but the most simplistic hard rock. On stage, the band struggles to recreate these brain-dead tunes. It's well documented that Kiss's 1975 breakthrough concert album, Alive, had to be severely overdubbed in the studio before release. And then there are the lyrics. Misogynistic, humorless, and moronic. How does any grown man with a shred of dignity stand on stage and sing junior high clunkers like Christine 16, Love Gun, and Lick It Up? The latter, incidentally, features the most laughably objective video that shows the band sans makeup. Now you see why Simmons wanted the group to be all covered in face paint, at times forever. The teetotaler, former school teacher, is about as handsome as a geriatric orangutan. Had it not been for a kiss, the unbelievably arrogant Simmons, born Shiam Wheats, would have continued life as one of the ugliest, uncoolest dudes to ever drag knuckles across the planet. Again, that wasn't a lot about the music. That was mostly just his hate for Simmons.
The music is about sex, and it's fun.
Here's the thing. He hits the nail on the head with something, though. When he refers to the music as being very adolescent, misogynistic, humorous, how does a grown man with a shred of dignity stand on stage and sing junior high clunkers? Okay, let's talk about these junior high clunkers. Here's my take on it, and my friend Carrie said this to me, and it made a lot of sense. Kiss is a band whose music and image and the whole vibe, the whole package is aimed at this era of your life where you aren't quite grown up, but you're not even grown up. You're not even close to being grown up, but you're starting to get interested in things like the opposite sex and things like that. But maybe you still watch Saturday morning cartoons and like dumb science fiction. Maybe still like to play with, toys, things like that. So you're like in this era, and it's a really kind of like exciting time as a kid. There's been a lot of movies. Stand By Me is a movie that really showcases what that time of your life is all about. It's, people romanticize it. And I think that what Kiss is doing is taking that feeling and like amplifying it and allowing all of us to kind of, when we go to a Kiss concert or listen to a Kiss song, kind of go back and relive that super fun era where we didn't know who we were yet, but it was okay. And our idea of love were things like Christine at 16 or Love Gun. Those are, yes, they're adolescent boy, lyrics.
I'm going to guarantee you.
That's the point of what they do.
I'm going to guarantee you that everybody has a Kiss song. At least 90% of people have a Kiss song that reminds them of their youth.
Absolutely.
I don't care what song it is. At least 90% of you, there's a song about that Kiss did that reminds you of when you were being a kid.
Exactly. And yeah, exactly. So here, my take on this music is, it is a misconception in this business that fun pop songs that like really grab people and everybody sings along to are easy to write. They're not. They're absolutely not. To really kind of pull all that together and to get something that look, I am extremely exhausted with I want to rock and roll all night and party every day.
Well,
but you got to give it its due. Holy crap. That is a rock anthem that generations after generations of people know and sing along to. And it's a simple tune. All the great Satisfaction by the Stones. Simple tune. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Simple tune. I Want to Hold Your Hand. Simple tunes.
Sometimes simple tunes sell money. Or sell money. Get money.
Even sell money.
Sorry.
Even songs like listen to the music of Tom Petty. Listen to songs like Little Red Corvette by Prince. Sometimes those super simple, it just grabs you and it resonates with everybody and it becomes a thing. And that is not easy to do, because if it was, all you whiny musicians out there would be doing it. You'd all have hit records. So that it's tough to do. It really is to kind of bring that all together and make something that like just resonates with a large amount of people and is fun and is catchy and becomes totally freaking memorable. Queen did Bohemian Rhapsody, but they also did
Bicycle.
No, they also did Crazy Little Thing Called Love.
That's a great
which
song.
is a very simple little rockabilly ditty. What do you got? Was something you wanted to interject with that?
I could just kind of feel like this guy in this article just really hates Gene.
Yeah, I think
He's a
the
Gene
whole
hater.
teetotaler, former school teacher, blah, 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 is, to me, that smacks of like jealousy or something, but whatever.
We can't all be rock stars, man.
We can't all be rock stars. The stage show. So you mentioned earlier the solo albums.
Yes.
And now, I think, admittedly, even the band admits this is not necessarily
I'm not gonna
Kiss's proudest moment.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't like probably one song on any of their solo albums that they did. I actually I wrote down which songs I liked from which album, and I couldn't find one on any of those that I liked. So I have to agree with that part of it. But there are so many other good albums that I don't care.
There is one song I like, and it's actually Ace didn't write it, but he had a big hit with New York Groove, which isn't like a really hard rock tune. It's a very pop.
It's fun.
It's got the Bo Diddley beat. It's a fun track. It came out in the era of people like Sean Cassidy. Those guys and Leif Garrett and those guys were kind of breaking at that time. So it was really fit with that. It's a cheesy song. I admit it.
It is, but you know what? I played it on Friday when I was out, so
there you go.
I'm not even going to say anything about it.
So that is another thing. Okay, so we're going to kind of. Well, I mean, there's so much to talk about because Kiss is. I mean, they're they how many years? 50 years?
Oh my god,
something like that.
70.
They started out in the early 70s.
It was 73.
Yeah. So.
Very beginning of 73.
So let's talk about these farewell and reunions and things like that. Let's talk about this because this is something I know is now frustrating Motley Crue fans.
Yep.
And Kiss has done this a couple times. So go ahead.
Kiss is okay. So the 2000 Not Really a Farewell tour. They have done so many farewell tours now that it's sort of annoying to a point where it's at nauseum, and unfortunately I'm guilty of seeing them twice last year during it, and I'm probably going to see them again this year, just because I want to be like, I'm going to get that last one in, but then like, are they going to do it again? Are they going to do it again in like 5 years?
Paul Stanley, I mean, he was on Joe Rogan saying he's really ready to be done.
He can't do it anymore. Unfortunately, his voice is going, and the last show I saw was in New York last summer. His voice is going. They can only do backing tracks for so long before it's like, we might as well just do the holograms like everybody else. But let's just stop with the farewell tours. And that annoys me because so many people are doing it. The Who does it. Motley Crue did it. Now they're back again. And it's just like, if you're going to just be a farewell tour, please just let it go after that. Because I want to remember you as you were, not as like, now I can't even barely walk on the stage and can sing. And it makes me sad.
I think as long as you can actually do it, do it. But if you can't do it, stop. That's just that. I mean, there's other things, there's other ways to have musical expression and everything without that grueling tour schedule, to the point where you can't, after the first week of shows, you can't really sound good anymore because you're so exhausted because they have you running like that. It's not. It's
and
not
they're
really
older.
doing it. Yeah, they're just older gentlemen too. And also, this is a thing in this business we talked about on the podcast before, is that these bands that they're trying to keep up singing every night, singing like that every night. I'm a singer. Singing like that every night is brutal on your voice. It's really, really, really freaking hard. And after doing it for years and years and years, it's going to take its toll. He is the one. This is Raven Black. We're going to come back and wrap up with our, Kiss versus Kiss, sort of retrospective Kiss-derectomy on the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. Raven Black, everybody. Caught them a few years ago at the Smiling Moose. and it's ironic that I didn't realize this, but I played them on a show about Kiss, and Raven Black is a band that comes on and they come on as characters, and they're actually they do the makeup and the costume and stuff like that, and they're a really good band. I think they're a good band.
I like them
the music's cool. So any parting thoughts about Kiss before we wrap up for today? Shout out to Wolf's Customs. Wolf's Customs.online. Get yourself that guitar. Also, guys, thank you, Rock Rage Radio, for being there for us and bringing us in as part of the family. We're really happy. It's been over a year now, and it's been a really cool thing. So thank you as well for that. So let's wrap up. What else you got to say about Kiss? Any parting thoughts? Anything you want to say about them? In terms of farewell tours, I think it's like yawn, be done. And don't tell. I'm sorry, it's a pet peeve. Don't do a farewell tour and then come back a year later and do another farewell.
That makes me so mad. I'm so irritated about that. My parting thoughts are, I love them. I don't really care if people hate them, and I'm probably going to go see them till they're like in walkers, because they're going to do another freaking farewell tour. I just think they're fun, and I will always love them. So I don't care. And that's it.
And that's It's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Who is anybody watching?
We've got Chris Thunderwolf Dotson and Raven on, Ann Layton's on, Bill Damiano's on. We've got Jared Grease, of course.
Jared!
Josh Monadoro was on earlier. He's probably getting ready for work. Who knows? Kiss is what got me into rock. My uncles used to listen to them all the time, and they are only a little older than me. I looked up to them, therefore I'm a Kiss fan. That's from Bill Damiano. That's all I got right now because Facebook cut me off.
Oh, those Facebookers.
I know, right?
They book in my face. Every time I turn around, they're always booking in my face. Right. It's not nice. Let's see if I can find my post from the other day, because we were like on top of this week, and I posted the thing earlier.
Super early.
So
I was so surprised.
We got a lot of interaction, which is always fun to do. Okay, so let me take a quick look. We had 32 comments.
That's pretty good.
Dave Brizard, Lily V6, Bill Damiano, Angelo Amatea. I always say his name right. Sorry, I apologize. I've known Angelo for years. He's a great dude. I just call him Angelo, and that's good.
Ange.
Hey, Ange. Jeff Mazai, Scott Perry, Chuck Christoborder, Josh Montadoro, Jason Lowe, Fran Crasher, Lou Lombardi, Dino Reylos, Eric James, Pat Domingo, Eric Roger, Greg Fristick, Dave Ferretti, Mike Walsh, Andy Taravella, John. I knew John was in there.
Yeah, he loves
Charlie
Kiss.
Hughes, Brian Knapp. So Justin Gizzy, Chad Williams. Chad, I haven't talked to you in years, man. You and I went to high school together. I don't know if you remember that. Brian Knapp, again, Raven Dodson.
I saw that. I loved that
John
she posted
Christie.
that.
So we got Alex Thorne. All you guys who do really appreciate the comments.
Jonathan Stanley. He's a
Dean
Kiss
Y
fan.
says, I hate them because they made me love them. Aww.
Because you can't help yourself. There's
know.
at least one song that everybody secretly loves.
I think that I think that the song. I think that there's some great comments here, and if you've not seen them, you should go back and see them. There's a very impressed by the sort of insight that a lot of our fans have. Dave Brizard says, if they weren't good songwriters, there wouldn't be any discussion about them now. Anyone would argue otherwise, I would suspect, just didn't like rock and roll. And it's not, guys, they weren't trying to be Led Zeppelin or Black Sabbath.
They were just trying to have a good time
do
and make
what
money.
they do. Right, exactly. They just do what they do. Eric Rogers says, I actually disagree with a lot of the comments on here. I think they're great musicians and great songwriters. They just took their cue from early Beatles albums and wrote mostly simple, catchy songs. I didn't realize some of the intricacies of their songs that make them great until I had to start learning to play some of them. If there's any doubt about a Kiss can play, start with the song Watching You.
Legit.
I think that's a kind of pretty good way of putting it. We tried to show kind of both sides as well, so we're going to kind of end with Eric Rogers' quote there. Guys, you need to go to LouLombardiRocks.com. That way you get into our communities. A lot of cool people hanging out there. We're always posting cool music, cool videos. We do lives, we do all kind of fun stuff there, as well as you can find out more stuff about the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus podcast and my music as well, LouLombardiRocks.com. Lily, when is your show again?
My show is on Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern on Rock Rage Radio, Hot Licks with Lily 6. I will not be at any shows coming up because we don't have that happening right now. So,
what are you doing over the weekend? Anything?
I don't think so.
We'll talk. We'll have to talk about it. But so guys, jump on over to LouLombardiRocks.com. Get involved with get in our group, because we're going to do a private podcast video for you guys here. So we can really talk about that. We can get into some stuff we couldn't get into here. Thanks so much, guys, for hanging out. We love it. Thanks to the bands Your Screaming Silence, Roxanne, and Raven Black. This is my band, Lou Lombardi, Strangelove, Jesus Talk. Have a great week. We'll catch you all in the next Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. And all week long, guys, always remember, rock out with your talk out. Rock out with your talk out. There we are.
You did it that time.
40 nights, a stranger I have been. To the man I thought I knew, and all these unwashed friends. Dirty streets, broken lights with burned out basement shells. It's not the place that I call home, it's just a place that I know well. Bloody knees, stain the road on the church and home.